Good morning, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is finally here. It is Royal Rumble time, and it's personally my favorite time of the year. Of course, in regards to wrestling, but probably just not even limited to wrestling. One of my favorite times of the year of all time. It's a holiday. It's holiday season, guys. So let's go. I'm super pumped to start the day off with you guys. It's a big weekend ahead. Of course, going to be a stacked show. So we're not going to waste too much time. We're going to get right into it. Sorry again if I'm still a little nasally. I seem to be getting better, but it's still kind of lingering. So I apologize for that. If I do have to dip out or kind of remove myself for a second or two, just bear with me. I'll be right back. I just got to grab a tissue. But thank you guys so much. As always, my name is Ashley. I have my own show here on YouTube, KickAsh Podcast, but more importantly, I am honored and privileged to be here with you guys every Saturday morning live at 10 a.m. Eastern at One True Sport on YouTube. Of course, if you're watching here, you already know all that. If you're listening via audio, cool, welcome. I appreciate that as well. Definitely slide over to YouTube if you can, because it's cool. We have a lot of people that come in and out of the comments and the chats and stuff, so it's pretty cool to interact and put your opinion out there, because I try to bring them up and check you guys out and see what you guys are saying in the comments as much as possible. Today I'm going to try to be focused because I do have to keep myself to a time schedule today. I know I say that shit all the time, but I have to run a couple errands before the Rumble tonight. So with that being said, we will get right into the card here. I have to knock out a couple business pieces, of course, but as you guys know, you guys know the drill, right? If you're not subscribed here on YouTube to One True Sport, I'm not sure what you're doing, but if you're watching here, then you most likely already are. So if you're watching via YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are, good morning and happy Rumble. Happy Royal Rumble Day. Happy kickoff to WrestleMania season. It's fun, guys. It's even in the past, if the build to Royal Rumble and subsequently WrestleMania hasn't been as exciting, there's still a default level of excitement for the Rumble. And for me, I have that times maybe 10. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's a big Rumble, right? But I just feel super pumped today. So I'm excited to sit here and talk about it with you guys. I will be doing a watch along on my channel, KickAsh Podcast, for the Rumble itself. It'll be the first watch along that we do over there. So definitely feel free to pop on over if you'd like, if you feel so inclined. I'll be starting maybe a half hour prior. Definitely around a half hour prior. So I think the pre-show starts at 5. I'll get the specifics here. I should know that. I think the pre-show technically starts at 4. But they normally run some video packages, and I don't even know if they've announced a match yet for the pre-show, but they normally do a buttload of video packages, especially the numbers of the Rumble, which I just freaking love. Of course, they had one on Smackdown last night. I just love it. I love the numbers to the Rumble. It's so cool. So I'll probably be going live on my channel maybe around 5:30. So definitely, no pressure, no plug, nothing like that. Just a heads up if you guys want to swing over there. Appreciate that. But if not, I definitely will be here next week by next Saturday, of course, we'll definitely know what happened at the Rumble, obviously, and what happened on Raw and SmackDown thereafter. But we'll definitely touch on the Rumble and see if we have confirmations of who the Rumble winners will be choosing to go and pursue at WrestleMania. So with that being said, like I said, we will not waste much time and we'll get right into it. But I want to say good morning to the chat. Good morning, E. What up, bro? Good morning. Good morning. You say this is our truth seer, y'all. Wouldn't that be some crazy shit? Like we're all sitting here talking about the Cenas, the Roman Reigns, the CM Punks. If you even see a couple people have Drew McIntyre as their like a dark horse pick, which I thought was very interesting. Even Sami Zayn. But E could be outsmarting us all and hitting us with some facts here, or what is it? It's not a spoiler, it's a prediction, right? Or it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Whatever Paul Heyman says, right? That's why he's the guru in the GOAT, right? But it wouldn't be something I feel is our truths here. I hope we get him in the Rumble, at least some type of appearance. Yeah, man. Thank you, Sean. Good morning, man. You say now that logo and color's awesome. Yeah. I just got that memo this morning. I was shocked. And shout out to Sai. Sai made me one for my channel, so I'll definitely be using that. But Dominic actually hit me up this morning and let me know that he made a new overlay for me. So that's pretty cool. So shout out to him. I love it. I love the colors. It's pretty dope. I love it actually. Now that you mentioned it, I do love the colors. I was looking at it obviously, and I was like, man, like I really like how it pops. You know, I love how it pops, but it's simple. You know what I mean? And the colors just really add to it. It kind of gives you like that comic book type vibe, like with the font. Like it's, well, you guys can't see my mouse, but like the KickAsh in the left hand corner. I just think it's really cool. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Sean, and shout out to Dominic doing big things, and definitely don't forget the top 1tsport.com. Definitely check that out and get some merch. There may be some things popping up over there in the near future. You never know. You never know. Good morning, Dr. Ross. Good morning, friend. And Sean, I appreciate you popping in, man. I know you can't stay long, but I know you're a busy man out there in the streets, man. Have a good day and be safe out there. Yep, E, thank you for that confirmation. Pre-show starts at 4 and show starts at 6. So like I'm saying on my channel, KickAsh Podcast, I'll probably start around 5:30 just to make sure all the audio kinks are taken care of and all that good stuff. Maybe 5:45, we'll see. But obviously definitely before 6. And there are no matches for the kickoff show. So thank you, E. I appreciate you, man. You always come in clutch. Good morning, Maria. Good morning. Good morning. I appreciate that. Good morning. Good morning. Side, definite thumbs up for the graphics. Yeah, man. I don't know if you just now popped in, but yeah, Dominic made this morning, so props to him. But I was just telling them I'm stoked to use yours for the KickAsh Podcast, man. I can't wait. Cannot wait. Randy, good morning, man. Good morning, and thank you popping in from X. It looks like I appreciate that, man. Good morning. Let me know your guys' picks for the Rumbles. I know we'll definitely be closing the show here with the men's Rumble predictions and stuff like that. But definitely throw your picks in the chat. I want to know what you guys have to think and what you guys have to say. But I know I've said this like a bajillion times, so we're gonna get into the card now, guys, because I'm pumped for it, and it's gonna be. It feels like a loaded show, but it's not overloaded, which I love, right? Like we're not going into this with freaking like 5-6 matches. Even 5 wouldn't be 5 is the standard, especially, in Triple H's era. But I was at least expecting 5, but I am super pumped with 4. I think it's gonna give, because you got to think, right? Like the Rumble matches minimum gonna go an hour and some change. I forget the longest one. I think it was like an hour 15 minutes or something, maybe something like that. So you gotta figure rounding up 2.5 hours right there. And then you're going to have your video packages, and if anyone else pops up, makes any type of appearances, or if they're going to tote like the attendance figure, any delays and any, kind of buffer segments in the show. So, and then of course we have the 2 additional matches as well. So I think 4 is great. And I'm happy with this. So just shout out to them. I appreciate them looking out for our lives. And the start time of 6 p.m. is just fucking great. I love it. So we'll probably be wrapping up, I'd say around 10. Maybe. Wonderful. And if you think about it, we get a whole day of wrestling too. I'm just pumped. I'm pumped. But getting into the card here, of course, it is hailing, whatever all those lings, from the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. And one of my boys, Dan, is out there. Shout out, Dan. He is hitting the streets. He was out there. If you guys saw, I tried to get a video. My phone is just dumb. I got to get a new phone. But at one point they were showing the the signage set up in obviously in Indianapolis, and they had they had taken and renamed some of the streets like Rhea Ripley Road, like Bloodline Boulevard and shit like that. And Punk's, I think, said best in the world, his little street sign. And my dude Dan, he's like just a wizard with stickers. Like this dude, I wish I had. Oh, I do. Let's see if I can show it to you guys. So I had this one on my old work laptop. I had to switch it in, and it was obviously you can't reapply a sticker. Let's see if I can show you guys. Look at this dope sticker that he made. He sent this to me a couple years ago, but it's Punk. Obviously, it was when he I believe it was at All Out, and obviously there's Punk right there. But look in the fans. There's like little DJ Pauly D heads everywhere. So that's just some of the shit my friend Dan does. Shout out to him. But I say that because when they got to CM Punk's Best in the World sign, he had put a little CM Punk sticker on the pole, and it made the shot. And I was like, fuck yeah, Dan. Like, it was great. So if you guys saw that, or if you go back and watch it, and you see it was like really brief, like when they're coming up, the little sticker, that's what I do, Dan. Just pretty cool. But of course, it's in Indianapolis, Indiana, like I was saying, which is very cool. I can't remember the last big pay per view that they've had there. I'm sure they mentioned it. I just can't think of it right now. But Michael Cole had mentioned that Pat McAfee had a big hand in getting the show to Indianapolis. So shout out to Pat McAfee. You know, it's Indianapolis isn't one of those states where you think of like, oh, it's like a big destination type place, but it's cool because it does pack a lot of history, right? It does have a lot of sporting events that are held there, right? And especially if you're into racing, a big racing city, state, all that good stuff. Moving my dog, there we go. But it's cool. I love switching it up, right? And I love not going to the same cliche like Los Angeles, New York, and stuff like that. Like switch it up, man, and still present it and make it feel like a big deal. So I love the location. I was very tempted to go, but it just wasn't in the budget this time. Not this time, but looking into Mania, that's a talk about budget in in Vegas, right? But we'll see. That's like a 5% type thing, but we'll see. But the Rumble kicks us off to WrestleMania. And of course, like I said, we only have 4 matches. I'm gonna take a quick sip of the coffee here really quick. And they're projecting over 65,000 fans, which is just fucking insane for a Royal Rumble. Like those are Mania numbers, and it's just wild. So props to WWE. Obviously, you know they're just still killing it. It's just wild. It's just wild. So I have the list here also of the wrestlers that we have announced so far for both wins. God, not even gonna get into that, but women's and men's. I was gonna make a comment, but I'm just not. Men's and women's respective Rumble matches. We'll get into the entrants that we have who have declared, and it's just so always so funny to me because like yo like if all you gotta do is declare, fucking I'm declaring. You know what I mean? Like I want to get in. So it's just so funny to me that more people don't declare. And when Tyrese, so prior to SmackDown last night, they were at the arena, and Tyrese Halliburton, a star for the Indiana Pacers, was there. Big wrestling fan, has been on programming a few times now. He, they got there mad early too. They got there like I think they said like 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours prior. So that was just wild. But he was of course, on stage, and Triple H came out, and Triple H was like, reference that anyone, you never know who to expect in the Rumble. And then he said, I forget exactly how he asked Tyrese, but Tyrese was like, yeah, let's talk type thing. Like pretty much like you free or not, are you free? Because he has a game today in Atlanta at 5, which is going to be tight for traveling, but whatever. Millionaires can get around just fine, right? But it's always so like interesting to me because like I don't know, especially the men's side. Like how do you have all these open spaces still? Like that's always what I think about. If I can hit I don't want to say the quick matches, but the actual matches, well, they're all matches. The matches that are not Rumble matches. First, we have DIY, Johnny Gargano, and the first inductee of the 2025 Hall of Fame, Triple H, aka Tommaso Ciampa, if you ask our truth, right? Fucking love our truth, man. The defending champions facing off against the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. First of all, I'm gonna get this out the way. I'm super happy for the Machine Guns, man. How cool is it that they are facing and off in a tag team championship match at the Royal Rumble, and especially on this stage with this amount of people, this presentation. I'm stoked for them. I'm happy for them. It's well deserved, right, and earned. Like, how long have they been in the business now? Was this 2025? Shit, 25 years, 20 years, something like that. It's got to be at least 20 years. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So I'm super happy for them. And I think, especially with it being a 2 out of 3 falls, I think they're definitely going to get some time to cook, right? As the kids say nowadays. But they're going to get some time to shine. And they're going to get some time to go out there and truly showcase why they were one of, and still are one of the best tag teams in the world, right? And what better opponents can you have than DIY, right? Like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. This to me feels like an old NXT takeover match, right? And one of those matches that Triple H would put on the card and would be a banger, right? And be one of those show stealing matches. So I'm super pumped for it. I saw some debate on why or if it should be a 2 out of 3 falls match. To me, it doesn't even feel rushed. Does it feel maybe I don't even want to say like a little heavy. it makes sense why you would want to put a stipulation, right? With these teams have been kind of going back and forth and especially with the characters, that DIY are playing, right? They were trying to get Pretty Deadly to help them and make sure that they had them like a security blanket type thing, which I love. Pretty Deadly, shout out to them. But I really like the 2 out of 3 falls aspect, and I think it's different. So yeah, and obviously you couldn't go with a ladder match. So I think that probably would have been maybe the other option if Kevin and Cody didn't already take that moniker for the evening, but or maybe not moniker, but match stipulation rather. So yeah, I'm really pumped for this. It's obviously going to be a killer match, and I hope they get the time. I hope they get at least they have to with the 2 out of 3 falls, right? Like 20-25 minutes, I would imagine. Uh, my official pick though, to me, I don't know why I was debating so much because in one vein I feel like it's a given and it's going to be the Machine Guns, but part of me Ciampa will try to like pull out like cheating really quick at the end, or even Gargano. But I just felt more so at Ciampa just because he's always so obsessed and like the way he clutches the belt all the time, and he's just always been like, especially his heel character and his heel version, right? He always is like, it's like, oh, what is that dude's name? Like I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings, but like hovering, like just like holding it, like just possessive, right? Like it kind of reminded me it kind of reminds me back in the day when Stone Cold was a bad guy, right? And he was just that nasty, possessive, didn't want nobody touching the title, would always just yank it, and like the title was his being, right? And that's maybe not to the same effect, but that's what Ciampa reminds me of sometimes. Ciampa reminds me of sometimes. So I dig it, and man, like he's one of those guys, and I'm not really like a size person. Like, oh, like you got to be like X size and weight, to be believable. There's an argument, right, on both sides of that, but look at Daniel Bryan, right? Like, look at Shawn Michaels, look at guys like that. So Champa to me, like man, like especially in the beginning of that hero run when he had no music coming out at first too, and NXT was just hit different. But even then, after that, when he had that heartbeat intro, one of my favorites. I love it. I think it's called Blackheart or something like that. I loved his entrance. So my official pick here will be the Motor City Machine Guns to retain the title or to win back the titles rather. I think DIY has only held it for 56 days. They said, which isn't that long of a reign. I'd like to see them hold it for at least maybe another couple months, but I think with this setting and going into WrestleMania as well, I think, and with not the possibility, but the new partnership rather with TNA, I think we could get potentially some fun crossover matches with. And again, I know I'm not gonna say only, they limit it to WWE, NXT, and TNA, and they didn't reference the main roster at all, like Raw or SmackDown talent. But I'm holding out hope that there's maybe some type of chance we get Motor City Machine Guns versus the Hardy Boys, right? Like that would be pretty cool. Champions versus champions, that'd be pretty sick. Even if we don't, that's just kind of like just like an added bonus. But regardless, going into WrestleMania, I think if we don't have anything solid for Jey Uso specifically, I could see the Usos getting back together as a team and going against the Motor City Machine Guns to try to regain the tag team championships. So we'll see. I love Jey as a individual wrestler though, so don't get me wrong. Like I don't necessarily even want him back in the tag, but I just think that's one of those dream matches, right? Just one of those matches that would be just so good. And what better stage than Mania? So officially again, Motor City Machine Guns, and the sky's the limit for them, right? It's amazing too how, like I said, how deep they are into their career, and it almost feels like they're just starting a new chapter, and they're still out there kicking ass, and it's like, yes, they look older, but they don't look older. So it's wild. So props to them and shout out to them. And I'm just so happy for them. Oh, Randy, you say Cena winning is nice. I think putting him over makes him only the second 3-time winner, the favor. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna save some of your. I'm definitely gonna say that. I'm gonna save some of the picks for the Rumble match specifically, but yeah. Sai, you said 10 p.m. finish is still 3 a.m. Finish here in the UK, still stoked though. Yeah, bro. Us over here, North America, we're spoiled. We're spoiled, so I feel for you guys. That's why when I see people complaining about WWE doing like international shows, I'm like, oh fuck off, man. Like we are so privileged over here and so catered. Like, come on. Come on. Like, so that always cracks me up. So 3 a.m., man. I hope you just hang in there, man. Hang in there. But what's cool, too, like, not like back in the day if you fall asleep. I mean, you did, if you bought the pay-per-view, you still had, what was it, like 48 hours to go back and watch it or something? Or was it a week? I don't think it was a week. It was like a certain amount of time you could go back and rewatch it. But once that time frame was up, that was up. But gotta love the power of streaming now. Dr. Ross, I'm going to flag or star your comment as well. Sai, you said, I thought the same about randoms declaring. Also, why do people not declare? Right. Very valid question. Okay, Fernando, you say because DIY lost last night on SmackDown, they will retain tonight. That is a good point. In WWE booking, that is a good point. And like E said, DQ. Oh, V-Hand. I thought there was another one. Was it just that one? Okay. Oh, there it was. It was Dr. Ross. Ciampa uses a chair on the guns to deliberately lose the first fall by DQ. And we have seen that in the past, right? Like, it's sometimes it could be viewed as dumb, right? But if you get that nice shot, and especially back in the day when they were doing headshots, it was just something else. I'm so happy we're away from that. But that was one of the big things. Like, they would do something heavy and kind of drastic to, of course, lose the first fall, but then they would try to pick up the pinfall with that, right? So if I'm hitting you with a chair, the idea is, I'm going to lose that fall, but I can pin you and kind of even it out. But it does make it more dangerous because when it's a 2 out of 3 falls, it's sudden death, right? Essentially, next pinfall wins. So they could do that, especially to get more heat on them, right? And to kind of have the baby faces come back from adversary, right? And to see if they will really be able to make the comeback. And I could see them just wailing on Saban, to be honest with you. I don't know why, but I could just see it. And yeah, the Hardys are in Windy at WrestleCon, so I mean, you never know. I could see, honestly, if not both of the Hardys, I could see Jeff popping up in the Rumble. WWE always seemed to love Jeff. I'm not going to say love him a little more. That's mean. But they always seem to spotlight Jeff a little bit more than Matt. And Jeff just had, like, not the more outgoing personality, but he just had a different vibe and a different connection, right? Like, Matt was the more outspoken one, obviously, but I think that's almost what drew people into Jeff more. He was that quiet until, things progressed and we learned more, but he was that quiet, just like chill dude, like, of course he went through some shit. We all go through some shit, but I'm happy for both of them now. Like, they both are on the straight and narrow, right? And seem to be good and healthy. So I could definitely see Jeff Hardy making an appearance in the Rumble. Jason Lay, what's up, Jason? What up? I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. But what up? You said how many hours to Royal Rumble? That's what we were saying earlier, or speculating on. And E pulled up with 6.5 till kickoff, 8.5 till start for Eastern. So that's the amount of hours until the Rumble. Jason, if you were asking how long the Rumble is going to be, if that was the kind of framing of the question, I was projecting around 4 hours, right? The pre-show starts at 4, technically. There's no matches announced for the pre-show itself, but the actual show, the Rumble, starts at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So depending on where you are in the world, adjust that accordingly, right? But I would imagine at least like a 4-hour show, because you got to imagine the Rumbles are an hour-ish each. So there's, like I said earlier, about 2.5 rounding up, give or take some minutes. And then you have the other matches as well. And then the match that we're going to get to next, the ladder match, I'm sure is going to take some time also. So I would say probably around 10 p.m. We'll see how close I was. But the next match that we have on the card is Kevin Owens, technically, presenting and defending the Winged Eagle Championship, even though it's not an official title. Defending his championship, quote unquote, against the champion, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Cody Rhodes. I guess they don't use Universal anymore. Do they use I don't know why I blank. I just always get nervous when I say the actual, like WWE's championship name, because I always feel like I'm gonna mess up the order. Because it's one of those things where you hear it so much, it's like, yeah, I know the name of it, but when you go to say it back, it's like, oh shit, like, what's the order? It's just too much. Like, I should have to think of a sentence to describe the championship that I'm referring to. Like, come on. So we have that championship, right? The championship, the WWE championship is what I'm going to call it. The undisputed WWE championship, of course, in a ladder match. Un momento. I thought it was interesting. Really quick, they showed, like I was saying earlier, they're doing like a hype show, a pre-show before Smackdown tonight, which I thought was just brilliant. Very well done and smart thinking. But I liked that, or not like I just said what I liked, but I thought it was interesting rather that Cody came out and he had his championship. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty certain the clip that they had showed Cody Rhodes holding his championship, and he had obviously been making the rounds with the championship. But I thought that last week they had hung the title, with Shawn at Saturday Night's Main Event on that hanger, as I called it, right? So it was just funny to me. Like, it was like, why even go through hanging it if he's just gonna walk around with it? Which again makes sense too. Like, why would you have your champion not relinquish, but give up his championship, the actual physical title, during the biggest like hype week the second biggest hype week that there is, right? Like, he's gonna be making the towns, making the streets, right? Hitting the streets, going to different media outlets and hyping up the championship and hyping up WWE and doing his thing. And he's not gonna have the championship? No, of course he is. So it's just kind of funny to me. I don't know why that stood out as much as it did, but this match, guys, my brain tells me not to be torn on it, but my heart wants me to be torn on it because, and this is again, if you're just now tuning into me and you have never listened to me in the past and you're like, who the F is this chick? I love Cody Rhodes. Right? CM Punk is my dude, but Cody is I don't want to say number two, but I guess number two, like 1B type thing. I really love Cody. Like, he sounds weird, right? Like, I know the guy. But I just love his story, right? Like, I'm not gonna get into all that and the clichéness of it, but when he left and really went out on his own, I just gained a huge respect for him and his journey and what he did and stuff like that. So I've kind of been, and I even going back like way, way, way back in the day, I thought the first time I really was like, yo, this dude's cool, was when he was doing the paper bag gimmick, right? Like, it was when he had shattered, I think it was Rey Mysterio had broken his nose, so he was wearing that clear face guard mask. And then the fans, like, I think he started, like, he would bring out a paper bag or whatever, and then the fans eventually, especially at ringside, would start putting paper bags over their heads. I just thought that was so funny and just like, not, I guess, cool, but I was just like, yo, that's just like, I think it'd be what you want, right? But I was like, yo, I would go there and put a paper bag over my head. As fucking crazy as it sounds. Can't believe I just said that out loud. But I was like, yo, this dude's something else, man. And then his progression, right? Like, I'm not gonna say I was like the biggest fan, but even what he did with Stardust, I remember thinking like, yo, this dude's just fucking nuts. And it was just very entertaining, right? I've always been entertained by Cody. I'm not gonna go back and be like, oh, I've been his biggest fan since day one. No, because that's bullshit. I haven't. But I gained more and more respect for him. So that's kind of where I'm at with Cody. I say that to say I would love for Kevin Owens to win, man. I just think that it would be so fun. I think that it would just really shake shit up and it would just really break the predictability. And I think that Cody would not lose a lot. Obviously, he would lose the championship, but he wouldn't lose who he is and the star that he is now and the face and the brand that he is now. So even if it was like, I don't want to say like a quick hot shot, but even if he loses it here, and his story now is the road to redemption, right? Going back to WrestleMania, trying to see if he can regain the championship. Not even necessarily sitting here saying that I'm advocating for it to be a repeat, right? Because he finished his story. I want someone else's story to pursue, right? And I want it to be about someone else. And I don't want WrestleMania main events to be tied up with a combination of Cody, Roman Reigns, even Seth Rollins, right? Like, no shit against Rollins, but like, I just like interject new people now. You know what I mean? So, and especially Rock. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then I know going back, if Kevin won, right? Like, it'd be crazy if he won and then lost prior to WrestleMania. So I don't think they're going to do anything like that. And I don't even really think that Cody's going to lose the championship. I just love that. I like the thought of it. And I love what Kevin Owens has been doing going into it. I'm very impressed with how they've been able to, I don't say drag this out, but extend this story. You know what I mean? And really, really get into layers without being so specific, right? Like I love how they reference Cody's time away without specifically saying AEW, because you don't have to be like, oh, like shock, like, oh, I said AEW, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to do that, but you can reference it. So that's, to me, Kevin is just a master when it comes to that. So between that and what they did this week with, and especially on last night on SmackDown, when he took offense to everyone pretty much already counting him out and be like, look, like you guys are all saying, oh, I'm gonna win the Rumble and face Cody at WrestleMania. No, you're not, because I'm gonna win. You know what I mean? And props to Kevin. Like that's how it should be. And taking it a step back further, I loved how the show opened after it opened with McAfee and Cole. I loved that Joe Tessitore was in the ring, and I loved his presentation. I loved what he said. He was like, look, I'm just a broadcast announcer, I think, or broadcast journal or sports journalist or something to that effect. And he was just really good. I forget like all his exact verbiage, but I just loved the simplicity of it, but the validity that he brought to it and just the believability. Like this dude wasn't going out there and trying to be a character. He wasn't trying to be like the star of the segment or to add personality or really like make it about him. He was just going out there and just being a reporter, but he wasn't being dumb, like I don't know, man, like it just really stood out to me. And I love Joe Tessitore. Like he when he first came out, I kept wanting to call him Joe Tessitore. But this dude has just really impressed me. So shout out to him, and I'm so happy that they kept him as an announcer. And I was kind of fearful that they would maybe bump him out or maybe even send him to NXT, which I think would just not be good. So I'm happy that he kept a home on SmackDown. So very excited for that. And his relationship with Wade Barrett, I think, is very good. And they have a good chemistry. But with this match, I think that there's a possibility that we get interference, right? No surprise there. With the influx and the addition of Sami Zayn and that little dynamic, right? When Kevin made a good point that Sami could come in, like, and look, if Kevin wins the championship and Sami wins the Rumble, they could accomplish their dream of facing each other at WrestleMania for the WWE Undisputed Universal Your Mom's Heavyweight Championship. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was like, yeah. I mean, he makes a very valid point, and that's another thing about Kevin. Like, he makes you like, damn, man, like the dude's right, and that's what pisses you off because it's like, okay, man, like I get it, you're right, but just like stop, you know what I mean? And that's what makes him so great. So I think we'll possibly get an interference from Sami Zayn, whether it's going to be a heel turn for Sami. I wouldn't completely rule it out because some of the comments that he's been making, right, about being overlooked and how he's always in interviews, he's always asked about his relationship with other people and not his relationship with like going into the Rumble and his chances and what he thinks and just about him. It's always about him and someone else, but never truly about him. So I think that was a very interesting seed that was being planted. So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be a situation where he comes out and just completely turns on Cody, or if he goes to help Cody and he ends up deliberately or like indirectly rather like hurting Cody. But I don't think that's going to cost him the championship because I think while Sami is out there, I think we may get a neutralizer in Randy Orton. I think Randy will make his surprise return to hopefully, or potentially rather, even the odds for Cody if we do get a Sami heel turn. If not, I'm not as confident or leaning towards a Randy return here. It could be a surprise return in the Rumble. But we'll see. We will see on that. But I think it's about time we get some type of sighting or something from Randy Orton at this point, especially going into Mania. So we'll see. But I just, as much as I would love to shake shit up and have Kevin Owens win, I think we're going to have a retention for Cody Rhodes here. So we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, okay, Fernando, you said Sami turns heel and helps KO win the championship. Yeah, right there with you, man. That's all I was thinking, too. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. You said Cody didn't do 2 Manias back-to-back trying to get the title just to have his run end within a year. If it was Mania, I would think Cody loses. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. If they were facing off against each other at WrestleMania. A bigger potential and a bigger possibility, but yeah, I don't see it either, man. I'm just saying I wish, but I'm totally right there with you. Jason, what's up, dude? You okay? So it's your first time on this channel. Cheers from Singapore. What up, dude? That's fucking awesome, man. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. If you aren't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. I personally am live here 10 a.m. Eastern every Saturday, but this channel is packed with content, so check it out, man. Check it out. Bryce Ring Media is who I was officially with. That we merged, like TKO and UFC, right? TKO, WWE and UFC forming TKO. But yeah, man, thank you and welcome. Jesse, good morning, good morning. You say the news about Vince. Oh, the news about Vince and Brock is wild, and it seems Vince's set up Brock maybe, and Brock shook Cody's hand at SummerSlam 2023 so Cody can beat Roman. Yeah, man, I was reading the shit about Vince and Brock last night. The new amended or docket, or I forget what it's called, but the new amended whatever the document is called. That's now like 104 pages. They officially listed Brock Lesnar, and they also listed Nick Khan as corporate officer number 1 and Barry Bloom as corporate officer number 2. And there was also this other guy, I forget his name, because I had personally hadn't heard his name prior, but he was like another like Vince's right hand man type guy. So that's why I was like, oh shit, Nick Khan is corporate officer number 1. Like, what was he doing? So I was actually reading it last night, but then I fell asleep. It's like fucking 3:30. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing a separate show talking about that probably sometime early next week over on my channel, KickAsh Podcast. Because there's just so much with the Rumble right now, it's hard to get into. But yeah, but if we don't see Brock in WWE again, I think him ending his WWE run, shaking Cody Rhodes' hand, I think that's kind of poetic for that character. So I'd be fine with that. You know what I mean? And that's like a whole sticky situation that I'll get into later on. But yeah, man, yeah, it's wild. Yes, you say Tessitore is authentic, which they've needed for a while. Yes, and I think again, like he's authentic, but he knows his shit too. Like he knows his product. He's not just out there referencing Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan, right? Like yes, he knows those names, but he knows the newer talent too, and he knows. I'm not gonna say he knows like the full like past 20 years or anything like that, but the dude is very knowledgeable, and I was again very impressed with that. Also, being an outsider, you know. So shout out to him. Shout out to him. It's funny you mentioned this. Enzo Amore rather will return as a heel with Nice as his manager. Not sure with Nice as his manager before. Say headlines Mania wins for a world title. I've actually been thinking of Enzo. I'm not sure what you mean with Nice there, but I've actually been thinking of Enzo Amore. Like that dude is just gold on the mic. So I forget exactly the allegations or whatever happened with him, but I remember like saying that they just like weren't true or like there was nothing to support it. So just a shame if that's actually what happened. Again, I don't remember exactly. So if he did shit, then screw him. But if he didn't, then it's just a shame. So yeah, he was so good, bro. So good. All right, the women's Royal Rumble match. So the lineup that we have announced so far is Nia Jax, Bayley. We'll save her for last. Naomi, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Lyra Valkyria, Ivy Nile, Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Zelina Vega, Candice LeRae, and Piper Niven, who is now Secret Hervis. It's fucking great. And the one that I was saving for last is Charlotte Flair. We have been seeing vignettes on her the past couple weeks. And again, like I'm just still kind of like torn on how I'm supposed to feel about Charlotte. I don't know. So I'm just gonna wait and see how she talks to people because I'm just kind of confused on her video packages. They're very well done, but I'm just like, so I'm not supposed to like her, right? Because like, but then again, but like when I'm thinking I'm not supposed to like her, she say about how like she's just put in like, and she's like kind of not struggled, but she's worked her ass off this past year to get back, and I'm just like, cool, man. Like yeah, like good for you. So it's just I'm just really torn on that. So I decided last night I'm just gonna table those feelings and that confusion until possibly next Friday. My pick for the Rumble. My sleeper pick is still Io Sky. I think that there's something there. My heart wants Io, but I just, with Charlotte coming back, most likely Becky Lynch coming back, a potential surprise with AJ Lee coming in. I just, and then of course there's only 14, and then I think I announced, so maybe 17 total. There's still room for plenty more. We'll of course probably get our surprise entrances, maybe a Trish Stratus, hopefully Alita, my girl Alita. Oh, love her. Maybe a Victoria. Victoria has been popping up at some WWE shows lately, and she looks to be in great shape. And I'm one of those people, man. Like, I loved Victoria. Like, I remember her match, her hardcore match with her and Trish Stratus. Was that a Rumble? I forget the pay-per-view. But I just remember thinking, like, yo, this woman is a badass, man. And I just wish that they did more with her. So it'd be cool to see her come back. And whether she's able to, like, I don't know her health status or what she's even doing, to be honest with you. So if like it's an injury thing, then that sucks. But I'm happy to see her at least back as a fan, right? And then back being in the fold with WWE. And I hope that they utilize her talents. Like I think that she could really bring a lot and could offer a lot of knowledge too. So potentially as like a producer or something. So I hope they get her involved somehow. She can't be active in the ring. But we also have, the potential for NXT, I don't want to say call-ups, but interjection, right? Your Cora Jades, Roxanne Perez. Do we get a Julia or a Stephanie Vaquer sighting? I think that'd be pretty sick. But one that we will get is my girl, Jordan Grace. Stand up here, but my girl, Jordan. Shout out to Jordan Grace. I'm super fucking pumped for her. I think she's going to be the star of the Rumble. I think she is going to have a breakout but a breakout match. I think this is going to be her breakout. I guess moment is right. Like the totality of what will be her moments in the Rumble. But I think she's going to get the most eliminations for the women's side. I think she's going to be presented as a badass. I am so here for it. She is another like sleeper choice and pick for me. I said months ago, I think if you really want to put her over and just really just, no pun intended, make an impact, have her come in, be dominant in the Rumble, and win the Rumble. So she's going to be like a sleeper pick for me. My heart still wants Io, like I said earlier. But my brain says Charlotte, is as much as it kind of pains me, just because I want something new, right? Like I was saying, but we'll see. And again, the announcement of Charlotte and not her being a surprise aspect, I think that could be done to throw us off too, right? Because now we're all thinking, oh, Charlotte's here, of course she's going to win. But maybe not. Maybe not. But I did think as well another potential like surprise entrant that we've seen her in past Rumbles. But Mickie James as well. Obviously, her husband is the GM on Smackdown, so it wouldn't be too hard to get for her to declare for the Rumble. But I think that'd be cool. Another little nice surprise. But my official pick. My official pick is Charlotte winning, and I think having Charlotte go back and forth between Raw and kind of facing off again, not facing off, but having a face-to-face with Rhea, and then going to SmackDown, having a face-to-face with Tiffany. I think you could really draw that out and get a lot out of that. And I think Charlotte could be that character to be like, I'm not going to choose right now. I'm going to wait it out and see. Or she could go directly for Tiffany. I don't see her choosing Rhea. I see her choosing Tiffany. And then I think her not choosing Rhea Ripley could also add to their story and a potential, well, not potential, but an eventual match that they have again in the future, right? Because we all know their history, but that could be something that Rhea plays off of. Like, look, like, you had your chance to choose me and you were scared, you didn't, da-da-da. So they could go from there. So that's my thoughts with that. But yeah. Da-da-da. Gustavo, what's up? What's up? Good morning. Would you like Drew versus Roman at Mania? Yeah, I mean, that would be fine. It doesn't feel like a Mania match to me right now, though, for some reason. Like, that could be like a big SummerSlam match type thing, but I don't feel that for Mania with all the other stories that we don't feel that for Mania right now, but I could see for SummerSlam. Yes, Fernando. Jordan Grace wins the Rumble and challenges Rhea and wins the championship and achieve the best debut in WWE history. That's what I'm saying, man. I would not be surprised. I'm not gonna go fully and say that she beats Rhea. I think that'd be fucking crazy, Reddit media. But yeah, man. I think for this one, I think if she did win the Rumble and chooses to face Rhea, I think that it could be one of those where like she looks like a badass in defeat. Um Rod, you said does this match open the card? Sorry guys, sorry to get to me. I think so. I think so. I think you bookend it. Women's match opens, your two, then the tag match, then Cody, and then the men's Rumble. Dr. Ross, I think Lash Legend, yeah. I can see that. Lash Legend for sure. For sure. And now the men's matchup here. The entrance that we have 18 currently out of 30 that have declared for the Rumble. LA Knight, of course, John Cena, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, I'm not saying freaking, Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke, Logan Paul, Penta, fucking great, Chad Gable, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Damian Priest, Santos Escobar, and Jacob Fatu. I think one of the stories from this match is going to be that last guy right there, Jacob Fatu. I think he is going to have the most eliminations for the men's match, and I think he's going to look like a fucking monster. I could even see him getting to the final four and them all being like, "Oh, we gotta team up and get this guy out," and kind of just like really treating him as like oh shit, like that big guy spot, like type thing. Like I could totally see that being him and him being the monster that everyone focuses on to eliminate, him being pissed and and storming off to the back, and then the final three going from there. Like I could see the final three, or actually I could see the final four, and let me know if oh, I should write it down. But my thoughts on the final four will be Cena, Fatu, Reigns, and Punk. So I could see the three of them teaming up against Fatu to put him over even more. Like, can you think about it? Like Cena, Reigns, and Punk all trying to eliminate Fatu and putting over the thought and the perception like, yo, this guy's a badass. We gotta team together to get him out, especially with Roman, right? Roman knows what kind of monster this guy is, so we gotta eliminate him now. So I think that's what's gonna happen with Fatu. I could see a spot with him and Breaker in the match, just being like two badasses and just two up and coming stars in the future, right? Just having a showcase moment. So in Penta, I think Fatu and Penta would be just a crazy interaction and just a crazy clash of styles, right? So I think that'd be really fun too. Dr. Ross, you say, you mentioned this earlier. We think Pat McAfee enters the men's match with it being held in Indianapolis? I think that's almost a given, dude. Especially with how many times they've referenced it now. If they don't, I'd be very surprised. Very surprised. Now for our picks, though. Randy, you had said earlier, my friend, Cena winning is nice. I think putting him over makes him only the second 3-time winner. The favor for Punk doesn't make sense if he wins. So I've been thinking about the favor for Punk, obviously, as we all have. And there's this awesome clip that someone had put together from the video game. There was like an ending sequence where it was CM Punk and Roman Reigns as the final two, which I actually think will be the final two. And they were going back and forth, and then Roman ended up being on the outside of the ring on the apron. Punk was obviously still in the ring, and Roman was waiting to kind of set up like for a move or whatever, or about to get into the ring. And then all of a sudden, you see this hooded figure come and pull Roman, just yank him off of the ring or off of the apron. And at first I'm like, come on, like don't do that. Like I hate that finish. I hate that in the Rumble that anyone could just come out and just pull anyone off. I grinds my gears, man. But this hooded figure pulls Roman off, and all of a sudden, the video, again, this is like not action figure, a video game, but the camera shot pans, and it's Paul Heyman in the hood, and he's saying something to the effect of, like, you left me high and dry when the Bloodline 2.0 was, like, beating the crap out of him, like, you left me high and dry, like, I had to fend for myself. He never did. He never left me. He's always had my back. He being CM Punk, and that was the favor. That was Punk's favor for Heyman, right? Like, help me win the Rumble. I wish I could show it, but it was just such a cool video, and I was like, yo, like that's actually pretty believable, and like that's actually could actually make some sense. But to me, that kind of felt like a heel turn and like a heel vibe. So I don't think we're gonna get that particular scenario, but I was just like, yo, that's brilliant. Whoever made this and thought of this, like fucking genius, man. But in regards to Cena, I just don't think Cena's gonna win this one. I don't think that his his journey to 17 starts so soon, especially since the dude wasn't even on the go home show, right? Like, not saying he has to be out there every week, but like, dude, like this is your last year. Like, where are you? You know, like you were on the Raw, the Netflix debut, right? Which makes sense. So it's just gonna be like once a month type thing. I don't know. So it would make sense because he mentioned I think it was like 36 dates. So obviously, you know, you can only do but so much with that, but I don't know. It was just very surprising to me that we didn't see him on Raw or SmackDown. So I'm not that's and again it could be like another sleeper thing, like out of sight, out of mind. Can't see him, right? But I don't know. I don't know. I don't I'm not as leaning I'm not as likely to choose Cena as I maybe would have been January 6th type thing. So and that's kind of surprising to me. So we'll see. But I definitely my pick for the final four is Punk, Reigns, Cena, and Fatu, and then the final two for me are going to be Cena and, or I'm sorry, man that could be cool too though. Cena and Punk as the final two, and have them eliminate Reigns. Man, that could be something. Yeah, I don't know. And that's why I love this Rumble because there's just so much unpredictability in it. There's just so much shit that can happen. But officially, my pick, I will say my pick now, the guy, CM Punk. I think this is his year. I think the interviews that he's been doing, I think the story going into it, I think this all just lines up perfectly to being his year. I think while he is healthy and good and all the stars are aligning, you bite the bullet and you take the chance now and you go for it, man. Like, and if something happens, then you can adjust, right? But I say fucking go for it. Pull the trigger and have this guy win the Rumble. Go on and main event WrestleMania, man. Like, let's go. I think I'm not gonna say with Cena. I think rather I could see him, and I've been saying this since he declared for the Rumble. He needs to come out within the first 5 entrants. I don't want him to be number 1 or 2, but maybe like 3, 4, or 5. Obviously, right? If you're not number 1 or 2, but start off very early because then that's going to make his elimination in the final 4, which I'm sticking with and I'm manifesting. It's going to make it that much more impactful. And I think or even if you don't have the 3 of them gang up and eliminate Fatu, think about if Jacob Fatu eliminated John Cena. That would be crazy. Crazy. So that's going to be another like prediction of mine. If the 3 of those guys don't eliminate Fatu and all come together, I could see Fatu eliminating Cena and then Roman eliminating Fatu and then Punk eliminating Roman. So those are kind of my thoughts with the final sequence of the Rumble. Very curious to see how accurate I am. But yeah, and I think it's gonna be cool. We already have heard Joe Hendry is gonna be. I forget where I saw that announcement at, but he is gonna be making an appearance in the Rumble, which I'm kind of. I don't know. Like, I love the inclusion, right? And I love that he's gonna be involved, but like, I kind of don't like kind of already like pulling that card so soon. Like I would almost want to wait and have him be officially on the roster and then make his first Rumble appearance. So I'm kind of torn on that, but it's still gonna be like when that music hits and his picture just a pop like appears on the screen, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. So I'm gonna love the moment. I was kind of like, would I have waited if it was my decision? Maybe, but again, like I could see why you want to strike where the iron is hot still on this one too. So I can kind of get that. Mm. Jesse, if Cena and Charlotte wins, will we see a who will chase Ric Flair's legacy storyline with Rick involved? Bro, that's brilliant, man. That's so interesting. That's so interesting to me. I didn't even think of that, but it's a very cool point, man, and a very valid point. And just to see Cena and Charlotte interacting on screen and even referencing that would be dope. And I do wish like they would have the Rumble winners interact a little bit more. Like Cody and Bailey last year, they took some pictures together and stuff, and like they referenced each other in the media scrums, but scrum. But I just wish that they would do a little bit more, and just really like put the two winners on more of a pedestal. And that's kind of wish that they wouldn't make the announcement so soon, like make their picks. Like I like kind of drawing it out a bit and kind of having the winner weigh both of their options, go back and forth between the shows, and kind of not make it a bidding war type thing, but just kind of leave it up in the air. But dude, that's a really good idea, man. Shout out to you. Lord of Dogtown, what up, what up? Like your avatar. After War Games and Netflix debut, after all that, I don't see Heyman turning on Roman anytime soon. Yeah, I don't either, but in that video, they did make a solid point. You know, Roman didn't do shit for Heyman. He didn't come out within like the next couple weeks to address what the bloodline did to him. He never referenced it. He never like he's not an affectionate person, you know what I mean? Whereas Punk, any chance he gets, he goes out there and says that he's a Paul Heyman guy. He loves Paul Heyman. They've been friends for years. He respects Paul Heyman, yada yada. So yada yada mean. So I don't know, man. I'm not saying it's gonna happen even at this Rumble, but I could see it happening possibly within the next year and a half, I would say. Year and a half. And I know you said anytime soon, so maybe you're thinking like that time frame too. But yeah, it was just a cool like another cool thought and like speculation, right? Um yeah, you know, I get that too. You say I don't understand the appeal of Hendry. He annoys me, but to each their own. Yeah, and I get that too, man. He's definitely like a in the category of like a Fandango, like definitely more. I don't want to say he's more believable in the ring in a sense where like he's taken it a little bit more seriously in that regard, but he's definitely an acquired taste. He's definitely one of those characters where like I'm not gonna say like you love him or hate him type thing, but like if you don't like that type of like that type of character, like you're not gonna like him at all. So I totally get that. I have a lot of friends who are just like, yo, I hate this guy. Not hate, you know, not personally, but like, yo, like his character just drives me nuts. So I totally get what you're saying there, man. Fernando, you said they gave away too many surprises. They announced too many names early, in my opinion. I agree, dude. I agree, and especially with Charlotte. I'm still surprised by that. I think Rick is doing good still. Like, just fucking crazy, man. Like all that shit that dude has been through, and like, you know, I'm happy for him. Like, I don't wish like bad health on anyone, but like, it's just wild. Like, props to him. Like, his body just has no quit. Mackenzie, you said I don't mind seeing Austin Theory winning the 2025 Rumble. I think you are the only one who is choosing him. But hey, stranger things have happened. That'd be could you like I don't even know where. I guess who do you think you would face, Cody? And that would be I guess my pick. But if Austin won, but yeah, wild. Yeah. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, Rick he's done some stuff, man. Done some stuff. Sigh, we're gonna be wrapping up here soon, guys. You say announcing Charlotte early makes me think they have a bigger surprise lined up, like AJ. Exactly, dude. Exactly. I forget where I said that, but with Punk. Oh, I think I was just talking to a friend. I'm just so used to recording now. But like I was actually talking to a real life person about it. I think that AJ Lee. I think this is the year, man. Punk said something. I forget who it was to, but he was like, I think we're in for a big, big name or a big, big surprise or something to that effect. And I think this is the year. I think this is the year she comes back. And again, especially for what you said, they're announcing Charlotte because then it's like, oh shit, we have Charlotte and like, okay, and like we get the standard people that we were expecting, like the quote unquote surprises that we were expecting. But then AJ Lee, like when that music "Let's Light It Up" hits, like, let's go, bro. Let's go. Yeah. They need to get Cena number 17. That'd be ironic, right? Oh man. But yes, Robert Nocturnal Knockout is doing a post show on One True Sport after the Rumble, if anyone wants to know. Yes. So definitely thank you, E, for that. He will be. So he's great. He does a lot of the post shows. So definitely, if you aren't subscribed to One True Sport, the channel here, and you can check out Robert's post show. Since I'll be live streaming, I guess I'll I won't do an official post show, since I'll be kind of reacting and giving my thoughts during the show. So we'll probably wrap up relatively soon-ish after the card and the PLE itself ends, but then definitely switch over if you are checking me out or if you are just enjoying the show, because I know a lot, and I'm sometimes that person too, where like I just like to watch the show not by myself, but like I just like to watch the show and not like hear other people talking. So I totally get it, like no pressure, but definitely check out Rob's post show for sure. But yeah, Jesse, Triple H is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was a cool surprise. And Lord of Dogtown, yeah, man, I mentioned this earlier. Hardy Boys appearance tonight. I said if it's not both of the Hardy Boys in the Rumble itself, then I could see Jeff making a surprise entrance. Or if it's even a show, like an appearance after my pick, the Machine Guns win the championships, and then the Hardy Boys come out and for like a face-to-face. I think that'd be pretty cool. The only thing is the partnership announced that it was WWE NXT and TNA's brand, so I don't know if they're just completely excluding Raw and SmackDown. But I think like if you have the opportunity, especially with the Hardy Boys being in Indianapolis, like why not? And Dr. Ross will be wrapping it up here. Where is Solo? It's funny you say that because I was literally thinking that last night watching SmackDown when Fatu had said, and dude is just fucking killer on the mic, man. Like, just, I love this guy. What he says, and what he said to Priest, when he was like, you can get your hair braided, Priest, but don't get it twisted. Beautiful. Just love little things like that. But, while he was out there, he was saying that me and Tom will run this shit now, essentially. He didn't say shit, but he was like, me and Tom will run this place now. I was like, yeah, where is Solo? Like, what happened to him? Where did he go? So I think we're gonna, if he doesn't make an appearance here in the Rumble, then I'm really gonna be like, yo, like, what's going on? But with that being said, guys, we did it. I actually stuck to my time schedule for once in my life. But again, thank you guys so much. We will be wrapping it up here. And again, like I said, if you feel the need or want to pop in and check out the show with me later on, obviously I won't be showing the video, but I am going to be doing a watch along, so I'll be streaming the audio from the Rumble. Definitely feel free to come over and pop in and say hey. If not, cool beans. Enjoy the Rumble. That's all I care about. Enjoy the Rumble, guys. It's going to be such a kick-ass show. I cannot wait. And I can't wait to see what this means going on and leading to the road to WrestleMania. I think it's going to be a jam-packed road, right? There's going to be a lot of congestion, a lot of traffic on the road to WrestleMania. And do we get a Rock appearance tonight? I don't think so. I do think so, but I hope it doesn't impact anything and hope it's separate to the Rumble itself. So we will see. But Lord, no problem, man. No problem. But thank you for tuning in and being new. I appreciate you, man. And definitely subscribe. And like I said, I have a show here, KickAsh Podcast on YouTube. So definitely feel free to check me out over there. But I am here every morning, every Saturday morning live at 10 a.m. So thank you guys so much. You can follow me on Twitter as well at ASHMANNS. You can follow my show, KickAsh Podcast _ at the same handle on Twitter. But yes, until next time, guys. Thank you so much, and happy Rumble weekend, guys. Take care.
Blue World Order. Blue World Order.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie is hosted and executively produced by the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard. It was mixed and engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional narration is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krebs. That's me. Our intro music was performed by the Swamp Candles. Our outro music was performed by Chikara. Additional musical accompaniment is performed by Enrichment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X or whatever, at Mind of the Meanie, and become part of the Pod Squad by going to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Find our entire show archive at mindofthemeanie.com. This has been a Butts Carlton media production. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
Dad, why is Blue Meanie's brain out?